This is just going to be a quick video about disabling your GM auto ride and not having any lights on the dash or on the gauge cluster when you do so. So this is my 2006 Yukon Denali. I've actually lowered it. It's a Beltec 2.4 kit. I did the 4-inch spring in the rear and I did the 2-inch spindle up front. And aside from that, I actually decranked the torsion bar keys, I think 1 or 2 rotations. So let's hop in here real quick and start her up. Now, I do have a check engine light. That is just for an O2 sensor, but no big deal there. You'll notice I didn't have a message come on for, service ride control or any of that kind of stuff. So let's go into a little video on why that is. I'm gonna do this all in one take if I can, just for the hell of it. So shut it off. And there is a way, I guess some guys will say, hey, pop your hood, go in the fuse box, right here, go in the fuse box, and you want to remove this, where are we at here? This 30 amp fuse, which is RTD. So RTD is your real-time dampening. And I don't like pulling fuses if I don't have to. So I chose to do this another way. So to do this, we're going to close this back up, go around the back here, and it's pretty easy. I figured, if all this stuff's electronic, there has to be some kind of way to disable it. So I was able to track down the ride control computer, and it's right about back here. But to get to it, we have to remove a couple things. So first we're going to remove this header panel, and then we'll remove the finishing trim here. So I'm going to pause this really quick and we'll take those off. All right, so we have those pieces removed. So the reasoning behind that was they do overlap a little bit from getting this panel out, and we're going to have to remove the D pillar also, being cognizant of our twiddler here. So let's kind of carefully pop this down. I don't know if we can put this up in a spot to actually be able to see. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. But we'll try anyway. So you want to kind of be careful popping this out, just so you don't pull, too hard and damage anything. You also kind of have to pull out first, and then, or over first, and then out rather. So now we have that. We can see we just have to disconnect our twiddler speaker, which we should just be able to get by hand. So we have that disconnected. Carefully set it aside. And now we're going to go over to our side door here. So next step will be we're going to fold our seat down. So we have to get this piece of plastic out. But before we can get that out, we do have to remove that sill plate. So we'll pause that real quick and get that removed. All right, with our sill plate removed, now we can fold the seat down the rest of the way. And the seat being folded down is pretty important, so we can access this 7mm screw. So we're gonna use the impact, take that out real quick. Oops. All right, so that guy's out. We'll set it aside for safekeeping. Now, all we wanna do is pop this whole trim piece off. So it's really just kind of pull on it, but be careful. We obviously don't want to damage anything. So I don't know if I can set this back here. Well, maybe not, but not a big deal. So we're gonna pull this guy off. Maybe we'll put it here. Not the best lighting right now, but that's not important. So kind of pulling it over. We should technically maybe remove the seatbelt, right? Maybe not. We maybe should be able to slide it forward. No, we should remove the seatbelt, but that's okay. So right now we have it just kind of flopping here, and that's really all we need. So we're gonna go back around the back of it. And now is kind of where the fun starts, because if we can get a good angle here, we are going to remove this whole panel. Oops. And when we remove it, everything will make sense. So before we can remove it, we do have to remove the little cargo net, whatever you want to call it, screw thing. So we have that out, as well as this little clip right here. So we have that out. Now, there's a couple of clips up on the windowsill area. You want to be careful, just because you do have your 12-volt outlet back there that will have to be unplugged. So carefully unplug it, and we have that out. So we'll set it aside. So what are we looking at? Well, we have our rear AC stuff, and we're concerned with this guy right here. This is the real-time dampening ride control computer. So you'll notice on mine, there is a cut wire. This is actually the power wire for it. Now, the best way that I found to do this was obviously first disconnect the battery, disconnect both battery terminals, touch them together just so you're canceling out any trouble codes your computer might have. Once you have the battery disconnected, then you can either just unplug this and leave it unplugged, or do what I did and cut the wire. Cut the wire, and then you can just cap it off. You know, cap it off either with some electrical tape or with some heat shrink. What I actually ended up doing was turning this into a power wire, figuring it's already a fused 30 amp connection, and you'll see I have another wire going up here. I was actually lucky enough to be able to find an MTX Thunderform. So in my 2006 Yukon, I do have a subwoofer back here. I don't have it cut out on here yet, but it's a powered enclosure, which is pretty cool, but that's not why we're here. So simply by removing this panel and cutting this orange wire, you will never have that ride control code or error or whatever popping up on the dash again. The nice thing about this is it's all factory. I know there's some companies that have offered maybe an inline resistor or something like that, where you actually have to go up underneath the vehicle and screw around with it at each corner. I don't have to do that. In fact, if I can sneak under here, oops, I totally removed the ride control air compressor. Now, I didn't really do this the best way possible. I actually just, wherever they are, I just taped off the wires up under here, which are these guys. I left it, left the connector from the compressor, but just taped up each individual one so they'd be up out of harm's way. And I actually don't have any of that connected anymore. So, pretty nice thing to do, and we're coming up right about 8 minutes here. So in less than 10 minutes, with just a 7mm, a flathead screwdriver to be able to pop that guy out, and a panel clip remover, you should be good to go. So I hope this video actually does help out a lot of people. It looks like it's a little bit invasive, but this job is really not as bad as, having to take off each wheel and replace all kinds of sensors or wire in some resistor and cut a bunch of things. So it's simple, disconnect your battery, take off all the panels here, and cut your power wire, and you're good to go. I didn't see any write-ups for this anywhere, which I'm actually pretty surprised about. So hope this helps out a lot of people. This should apply to really any GM full-size truck that does have the automatic ride control, as long as you can find that computer. And if you, remove power from it, you should be good. Hope everyone likes this. If you do, feel free to give it a thumbs up, a like, whatever. Comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to me, because I should have a couple more projects finally getting underway here.